Go. We're looking at solving percent problems today. Recall that percent, if you remember your Latin stems, means for every 100 or out of 100. Okay, and we're going to use this definition to solve problems that contain percents. All right, and the method that we're going to be using is this right here. We're going to use this every single time, okay? So percent over 100 is equal to is over of, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is find the words percent, is, and of, and substitute the values into the proportion in the correct places and solve for the unknown variable. And then last thing, check to make sure you've written your answer correctly. So if you are looking for a percent, if you have a problem that says find the percent or what percent, your answers need to have the percent symbol attached to it, okay? And if you're looking for a number, do not write the percent symbol, okay? All right, so one method that I try to have students do or use is this boxing up method. So if we just write down these notes here that I have, so moving left to right, box two of the items together. So any numbers that you see, the word percent or the symbol percent, the word of, the word is, and the word what. And what is what we're looking for, right? So we're going to replace the word what with an X or a variable, okay? So let me show you what I mean. So I really recommend that you guys do this on every problem. It really takes out the guesswork. So first of all, we can start with the percent over 100 method. So basically what we're doing is we're setting up a proportion equal to 100. So we're just looking to fill in these three spots, something here, and something there, okay? But we can set up with this every single time, okay? So what we're gonna do is start boxing things up. So I have a number, and the next closest thing to the left is the word percent, okay? I'm gonna get a little bit smaller of a pen here. There we go, 92. The next closest thing is the symbol percent, so I'm gonna box that up together. Now, continuing left to right, I have of. The next closest thing to the right is 42. And then is, the next closest thing to the right is obviously the word what. So 92 is with the symbol percent, and we had this percent over 100 is equal to is over of. We're definitely going to need to memorize that part, okay? So 92, if they're giving us the percent, we're going to put that here. Of is with 42, so 42 is going to go on the bottom. And is on top. Is with what, so we're going to replace what with x. Okay, so now what we are going to do is what we've been doing all week is just cross multiplying and divide. So we're going to multiply these two numbers together. And what does that equal to? 92 times 42 is 3,864. And then we'll cross multiply here as well. 100 times x is just 100x. And then we can divide by 100 here, divide by 100 here, and you're left with 1x is equal to 38.64. Okay? Now, I set this up to show you exactly how this works out. However, you don't really need to go through all this work. Really what you can do is just cross multiply here, and then you can divide this term. So let me show you what I mean. So I couldn't put an equal sign here, so I have this subtraction symbol. So just pretend that's an equal sign for now. All right, so what I can do here is just cross multiply 90 times 42 and then divide by 100. And I'm going to get the answer a lot faster. Okay, so I'm going to clear this out. 92 times 42, press enter, divide by 100. And we didn't have to write anything out on the paper. All we had to do is box up everything so we know where it goes, and we don't actually have to do any solving on paper or in our heads. We can just use the calculator from there. So we got that answer a lot faster. Okay? All right, let's move on. Let's try another one. Let's see if I can get this. Okay. We're going to box up this number, 145.8. The next thing closest to the right is the word is. So we're going to box that up together. What will go with percent, and of will go with 150.1. Okay, so again, we're going to start this out as fraction over 100 is equal to another fraction. All right, and so now we're just placing everything in. So 145.8 is what the word is. So that's going to go on top of the right-hand side, 145.8. What is with the word percent, and what where tells you where the x goes. So what is going to go, or the x is going to go where the percent symbol is, or the word percent. And then of is with 150.1. So we're going to put that on the bottom right here. And now we can just cross multiply and divide. Now this one here, we get 97. But remember, we're looking for percent, so we need to make sure that we add our percent symbol here for our answer. Okay, number 3. This one's a good example of why you definitely need to make sure that you're working from left to right. Because if we look in the middle here, it's like we're not really sure what to box up because we got of, what, and is all next to each other. So just make sure that we're moving from left to right. Okay, so 19, we're going to box the closest thing to the right, which is the percent symbol. Of, next closest thing to the right is the word what, so that goes together, and is goes with 20.9. So we'll set up 100. Fraction over 100 is equal to another fraction, and then we just got to fill in what we need to. So 19 is with percent, so that goes up on the left-hand side. Of is with what, and of is on the bottom, so we put the x on the bottom. Is goes with 20.9, so 20.9 goes on top. And now we just cross multiply and divide. So we can just multiply these terms and divide here. So 100 times 20.9 divided by 19 equals 110. All right, moving on. Okay, why don't you guys try these? So go ahead, box these up, and go ahead, set up the two fractions and solve. All right, let's see if you got them right. So what is going to go with the word percent? Of goes with 99, and is goes with 56. And again, remember, this is percent over 100 is equal to is over of. Make sure you have that memorized. Okay, so we're going to start this out. 100 is equal to another fraction. So what goes with percent? So looks like our x is going to go on the top left. Of is with 99, so 99 goes on the bottom. Is on top, so we're going to replace that with 56. And now all we have to do is cross multiply and divide. So cross multiply 100 times 56. So we're going to multiply these. That's going to be 5,600 divided by 99, and we get 56.6. Don't forget this, they're asking for percent, so make sure you label it with the percent symbol. All right, next one here. 141 is 75% of what? So let's work left to right. 141 is going to go with is, box that up together. 75, box that up with the percent symbol, and of with what? So 100, here we go. What's going to go where? 141 is going to go on top where is at. So 141, 75 with the percent symbol. So this goes on the top left. Of goes with what? So what tells us where the x goes? X goes on the bottom. Cross multiply, divide by 75. We're going to get 188. All right, last one. Box things up. What goes with is? 7 goes with the percent symbol, and of goes with 93. So we're going to set up two fractions. 100 is equal to another fraction. Let's see what. So x goes with is on top right. 7 has a percent symbol, so that's going to go on the top left. And of is with 93, so that goes on the bottom right. And now we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to multiply these two numbers. Oops, that ain't right. Multiply 7 times 93 and divide by 100, and we get 6.51. All right, now the last thing, you definitely want to go back and just make sure that these answers make sense, okay? So let's look at the first one here. Number 1, what percent of 99 is 56? Okay, well, if this were what percent of 100 is 56, well, it just would be 56%, right? So it would make sense that this is pretty close to 56%. All right, so that like checks out mentally. You definitely want to make sure that these answers are making sense. All right, number 2, 141 is 75% of what number? Okay, so 141 is representing only 3/4 of a number. So we definitely want to make sure that this is going to be a bigger number than 141. So this is how you can kind of check to make sure that you have a logical, sensical answer. Okay. And what is 7% of 93? Again, if we could make this a little bit easier, if this 7% of 100 would be 7, right? So 7% of a little bit smaller number makes sense that we get a little bit of a smaller number than 7, okay? But we're talking about 7% of 93. We're looking for a pretty small number, but obviously if we got like a decimal, like if we got 0.0651, we know that's way off. You know, if we get anything over 93, we would know that's way off. So there's definitely ways that we should be checking to see if our answer makes sense. We're going to be looking at some application type questions or some word problems, but we can box these up the same way we did before. So the first one is a €3 tip is what percent of 1870 euros? Taxi fare. Okay, so let's take a look here. So we're going to box up 3. We're going to kind of ignore all the non-essential words, but the next closest thing to the right is the word is, right? That's one of our keywords. So we're going to box that up together. What? The next closest thing to the right is the word percent, so that's going to go together. And of is going to go with the number 1870. All right, so now we're going to use our, remember this is percent over 100 is equal to is over of. All right, so we're going to set this up. Fraction over 100 is equal to what other fraction? So we got 3 is with is, so it's going to go on top. What percent, right? What tells us where the x goes? What is with the word percent? So that's going to go here. And of is on the bottom, so this 1870 will go on the bottom. And now all we need to do is cross multiply and divide. So we're going to get, if we want to kind of work this one out, 300 is equal to 1870x, and divide by 1870 on both sides. And you're left with x is equal to 16. Just remember, this is asking for what percent, so we need to put the percent symbol there. So this is 16%. All right, let's look at this next question. What percent of Baumholder High School population, 181 students, are freshmen? 42 students. Okay, so let's take a look. So what percent, so we're going to box what is going to go with the word percent. Of is going to go, the next closest thing that we matter is the number, right? And the last thing, so this one's a little bit tricky, but R is the same verb as is, just a plural and singular difference. So is or are is going to go with 42. So let's set this thing up. So we got 100 is equal to what fraction? So again, we're looking at what percent. So anytime it's asked for what percent, we know that the X is going on the top left. Okay, of is with 181, of is on the bottom. So this goes 181 on the bottom, and is goes with 42. So 42 goes on top. And again, now we're just going to cross multiply and divide. 100 times 42 divided by 181, and we get 23. Again, we're asking for percent, so do not forget to put the percent symbol there. All right. Last one for today. So we've got the following table represents the distribution of dreams Mr. Sullivan has each night. So 24% of his dreams are about algebra, 17% is about Thundercats, 18% is on Jar Jar Binks, it's a character from Star Wars, 7% is on Farmville, and 34% is on NSYNC. All right, so let's look at the first question here. If Mr. Sullivan dreamt for 380 minutes last night, how many minutes were spent dreaming about NSYNC? So let's think about it like this. All right, so we're given percents, right? So it's asking about NSYNC, and we're given the percent. So we already know that this is going to be 100 is going to be on the bottom always, but they gave us a percent. So that has to go on top here, right? Because it's percent over 100 is equal to is over of. Okay. Now, if Mr. Sullivan dreamt for 380 minutes last night, well, what amount of his sleep was 380 minutes? Well, that's the total. Okay. Another way to say that would be 100% of his sleep. So that would go in line with the bottom row. So that would represent 100%. So that is going to go here. And now if we want to figure out how many minutes he's dreaming about NSYNC, that's going to go on top. And again, now we're just going to cross multiply and divide. So we're going to do 34 times 380, divide that by 100, and we get 129.2. And we should label this, we're talking about minutes, so this is 192 minutes. All right, last one. If Mr. Sullivan spent 75 minutes dreaming about Jar Jar Binks, how long did he sleep? Okay, so again, we're going to set up fraction over 100 is equal to another fraction. Okay, Jar Jar Binks. Again, we're given the percent, so we know that the 18 has to go on the top left. So now we just have to determine, does this 44 go on the top or does it go on the bottom? Well, what is it representing? Is the 45 minutes representing the total time that he slept? No, it's representing the 18%. So this is going to go across from 18, and we want to figure out the total amount of sleep. So that makes sense that the X is going to go in the same row as the 100, right, to keep that in line. All right, and now that we have that set up, we can just go ahead and cross multiply and divide. 100 times 45, that's going to be 4,500. Divide that by 18, and we're going to be left with 250. And again, we're talking about minutes, so we should label it as such. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Good luck.